All right. As everyone comes in, I just want to say thank you all for being here today. I'm Mike Womack, the Director of Marketing and Communications here at NJMEP. And today I actually have the pleasure of introducing one of our new affiliate partners, Worktables, who brought together manufacturers that have overcome some similar challenges that were hampering growth. And we're going to go hear firsthand from industrial leaders that are working to improve the operational infrastructure from the ground up while using solutions that were specifically designed to meet their needs. And learning from the experience of partners. That's why NJMEP exists, that have gone through the challenges that you might currently be going through is so critical. There's no need to run into the same roadblocks, smash your head against the wall if others already kind of learned how to overcome those difficulties. If you have any questions throughout the presentation, just post them in the chat. I'll be hanging out, watching that chat, making sure that Michael and team sees the questions so they can either tackle them head on or wait till the end. And just a special call out. Thank you, Michael, so much from Worktables and the whole Worktables team, Monday.com, all the manufacturers that are here with us. Because without this and without them, this partnership wouldn't have been able to come to fruition. So without wasting any more time, I'm going to let Michael do the hardcore introductions. So please take it away.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you, and I appreciate everyone that made time here to join this today. And when I look at fellow manufacturers, it's kind of like an exclusive group. We all have been through. When you look at manufacturing in general, it's one of the hardest, most rewarding industries out there. We face a lot of bumps and challenges along the way, but at the end of that light and tunnel, we bring something extremely unique and special to each one of our customers. And the one thing that we've been seeing consistently, and I'll dive into this more, is that from a manufacturing perspective, we're seeing the manufacturing industry as a whole try to transform and move their operations into the future, solving some serious gaps and challenges and doing it in many unique ways. So today, really, we're going to be going over that. And instead of us speaking, right, I like to bring real world manufacturers, executives who have faced these challenges, overcame some of these challenges, and can share their insights and experience on how it affected and impacted their organization. So without further ado, we'll be jumping in. I'll be sharing my screen. And Michael, just to confirm, okay, I can kick off and start presenting?
Yes, sir.
Hey, let's do it. Okay. There we go. Okay, so you all should be seeing a title slide. I could you get a thumbs up to confirm that that is what is being shown? Right, good. All right. So jumping in from an intro, from an agenda perspective today, we're going to go through a quick intros, our speakers. We're going to do a highlight on some of the top industry challenges that we're seeing and the trends that are being taken to solve them. We're going to reserve a section for each one of our speakers to talk about their business, and we're going to ask them questions on how they've addressed some of these challenges. And we're going to take a moment and talk about the solutions and how it can all be tied together in a way that can help leap the ultimate manufacturer forward, and then next steps of the slide here today. So first, starting off from the host side of things, as Michael mentioned, my name is Michael Simo. I'm the CEO at Worktables. We are a consulting firm focusing in the manufacturing industry. We are partnered with Monday.com. They are a strategic partner. We've come together to create one of the first ever work operating systems for manufacturers. We like to say for manufacturers by manufacturers. With me today is our CTO, Giovanni Pizzato, from the Worktable side. And then, going Alex, if you want to just take a moment from the Monday.com side and just say a quick intro, that'd be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Great to see so many people here. My name's Alex. As Michael said, I'm a channel partner manager at Monday.com. And just a little backstory here, money.com, if anything, is known for how customizable and how flexible it can be. But oftentimes that brings up the question for a client who needs to build out something super large scale. How do I get from point A to point B? So that's really where we rely on partners like Worktables, specifically when there are verticals that we know that money.com can provide enormous value for. We rely on people with the subject matter expertise and the technical know-how, like the Worktables team does. So they're really the partner that we lean on for manufacturing, for driving digital transformation in the sector. So very excited to be here today.
Alex, thank you. All right. So jumping in, give an overview here on our speakers today. So we have Maddie Armstrong here coming from Bright Pet. They are a private label dog product or animal product manufacturer, manufacturing hundreds of millions of tons of dog food products each year. From the cosmetic space, we have Christina from Bellis Labs. And from the large scale manufacturing, creating large industrial bridges, we have Nathan Oxley from Roadrunner Bridge. So jumping forward into some of the challenges that we're seeing in general across the industry, whether it's, again, it could be a cosmetics manufacturer or a bridge or, private label manufacturer. We're seeing them everywhere. So the first challenge that we're seeing, specifically in 2025, being addressed is the siloed systems, the legacy systems, the lack of the collaboration ability, the lack of expertise in these team members being able to use these technologies. And we're seeing this is the top challenge we're seeing manufacturers trying to solve. And whether there's an ERP that's been installed and live in the organization from the 70s or 80s, whether that industry and that organization is working off of spreadsheets and email, there is a lack of unification and a single way for the team to operate. Another one is securing intellectual property, access management. Now with this big work from home, new trend that we've seen over the last couple of years, big challenges is, how do we stay productive when we have team members that work from home, work at different sites? Now with the ability to work faster, companies are hesitant to work with, AI or other tools because intellectual property is so key and important to an organization. So how to keep it secure while working with it, while transforming forward. Vendor and supply chain management. This is a big one. And again, we have worked with over 250 different manufacturers, revamping their operations, solving these big challenges for them. And one of the biggest things we hear is, managing their materials, managing their projects, managing what their vendors are providing them, the quality of that product. Huge challenge here that is being addressed in 2025. Traceability, compliance regulations. I feel, every time we turn our head, there's a new compliance regulation that is popping up for manufacturers everywhere, or just trying to achieve compliance as a first step. A lot of my clients we work with, looking for good manufacturing practices, getting their first ISO certifications. And that is a big, bite to take off, especially as, coming from the manufacturing space myself. As a growing manufacturer or a scaling manufacturer, you're wearing many hats. You are carrying more than you would typically to get where you need to go. So, being able to align to these compliance regulations, maintain compliance regulations in this fast moving world. And then another big one here, and this is one that I hear across the board, not only in manufacturing, in every industry, is being able to find skilled laborers, skilled employees at the office or the warehouse or the production level, and then being able to take that employee and get them up to speed. So the time to value or time to, for them to produce for the business. So these are the top 5 that have surfaced that we're seeing and the industry is seeing, from a gaps perspective. So what we'll do now is, jumping into, our speakers and really understanding, how they've used this work operating system to solve all of these problems. Because at the end of the day, if we can focus on one area of a solution that can yield and tick off multiple areas of challenges in an organization, especially with the lack of time we traditionally have, that's a big thing, right? So first, Maddie, we'll start with you, and again, thank you so much for being here today. If you just want to take a minute, introduce yourself, tell us a little bit about Bright Pet, and then we'll kick it off from there.
Yeah, of course. Thanks for doing me dirty and putting me first. So I really appreciate that. I'm Maddie Armstrong. I am actually the project manager for Bright Pet Nutrition. I am the project manager for every type of project that we have. We have our own brand. We do co-manufacturing, private label, export, you name it, we do it. And we do frozen, freeze-dried, kibble, baked, all types of pet food. So we have a lot of different types of processes and all kinds of crazy templates and everything that we have to kind of use for making sure everything's streamlined. And the work tables team has really come in clutch and helped us with that. Before I came on board with Bright Pet, they did not have a project manager. They kind of had their sales team handle things, work directly with the plants. We got 5 different plants across the country. So it was just very chaotic, not a lot of streamlining. So when I came on board, they had already had Monday as something that they wanted to use, but there was nothing in it. So I immediately started looking into what we could do to amplify that and move as quickly as we possibly could while still, flying the plane while we're driving it, essentially. And that's, again, we're work tables, Michael and his team, they helped us so much with building up our sales, our CRM side of the business and our project management side. And it's all streamlined and fit together. They really took the time to understand what we needed and where our challenges were. Again, because we're not a one-stop shop for what we make. We do multiple different kinds of things. And so it did take, some time to get us where we needed to be, but we're there now. We're doing well. Our pipeline has actually grown so much, and we're able to work through our leads, our opportunities much faster because we're able to have these custom dashboards and reporting that Michael and his team built for us so that we can see everything at a glance. So as we're moving through things, and if anyone has questions on where we're at with our project, our pipeline, anything, they're able to just go in, look at a dashboard, and it's going to show you everything you want to see. So it has really great visibility. We love that. We love the custom reporting that they were able to put together for us. I'm sure it wasn't super easy, but they pulled it out of their hats, and they really helped us out quite a bit with that. We're actually getting ready to have the work tables team start helping us build our our customer portals, and going in, customers can place POs through our setup, and it can help us with forecasting, ties back to our projects, ties back to our pipeline. So it's going to give us that full view flow of everything we've got going on and more visibility. Because again, we do have 5 plants, we have 5 different ERPs. It's crazy. So this is going to help streamline everything and give everyone that visibility that we really want to see, and kind of making it our one source of truth. So again, thank you, Michael and his team. Amazing.
Oh my gosh, Maddie, thank you. So Maddie, like that, that was excellent. Thank you for that. If you could give just a snapshot, what was the experience like managing everything from separate emails and spreadsheets? Like what did that look like before, before the transformation?
It was hell. To put it in layman terms, no, it was extremely chaotic. Again, everyone wanted to work together. We just didn't know how to get there. And again, we wanted to get there as quickly as possible, while still doing things right. So instead of, this plant's working off of this spreadsheet, and we have a plan over here working off a different spreadsheet, but this customer wants something done a certain way, we were really able to build that into Monday. And when I say we, I mean Michael and his team. I didn't do anything. But they taught us everything. They taught us how to do what we needed to do. And as we had questions, as things change, as things evolve, we were able to go in and change things. But beforehand, I would say, you know, a typical project of ours would take 9 months. And now, to be completely frank, we're probably able to launch things depending on the customer and the type of project it is within 6 to 7 months. So it's really helped us move so much faster. And again, it's that visibility, it's cutting down that email traffic because everybody can just see everything live in one spot.
Patty, excellent, absolutely excellent. And you touched on the client portals, and I think that was another trend we see is manufacturers, and we've gotten a bad rap for client experience, right? It's been traditionally it's been, you know, call your rep, send a few emails, and I know Right Pet, you know, has wanted to focus on really transforming their client experience. And if you could give just a point on how you were working with clients before and how the new portal, how you feel the new portal will, you know, completely change that.
Yeah, so beforehand, when customers wanted to place an order, it was, here's an Excel spreadsheet that has all of our SKU numbers or whatever we want made, and send it to an email that went to that specific plant. And then it was all just done very manually, putting that into the system. From what I understand, they're putting together for us now is this customer will be able to go into a portal in Monday, and it'll be specifically set up for them, their SKUs, their products. So there's, you know, no one's looking at anybody else's business. Again, with that private label side, that can be tricky. So they'll be able to go in and see all of their own products, all of their own SKUs, order how they want to order comfortably through units and pounds, and then get that straight over through. And we have it connected to Power BI, which I know a lot of manufacturing sites use. And that helps us as well. It's a great tool. So this is honestly going to change, I think, how quickly we can get orders into the system, and even our lead times, with cutting down even just a few days of, okay, manually getting this order in through email, manually putting it into the system, sending it a response back. It's all going to be so much more automated. And I do think it's going to cut down our lead time probably by at least a week.
Excellent. Add that up over hundreds of clients over a year.
Right.
I mean, that's a crazy ROI. And I think you hit on something really important, which is another challenge that we see is how do you give access to IP without giving access to everybody else, right? They're like those SKUs, that's their customer names, that's their product IDs, also that's sensitive data. And sharing something via an Excel spreadsheet, via email, who's got access to that email, who's got access to that spreadsheet, there's no way to control who can get to that information. And I think that was a big, you know, exciting point around this project is, you know who logs in, when, how they order, you know who on the Bright Pet team has access to that order data, who can approve if an order is going to be allowed within a certain window or not, and change orders. So I think it's super exciting. And Maddie, again, you know, you said that you gave us some great compliments, but I think the biggest success piece here, whenever we're transforming a business, is the stakeholders on the client side that are willing to work together, roll up their sleeves, you know, help us transform the business together with them. And it's a joint process. And I appreciate everything you and your team are doing for us as well. Thank you.
Thanks, Michael.
Awesome. All right. So moving on, we'll keep this excitement train going here. Let's take a moment. Christina from Bellis Labs. Christina, thank you very, very much for joining us here today and taking time out of your schedule. I would love it if you could take a moment and just high level, you know, who you are, your business, and then we'll kind of talk about you really focused on solving, you know, production challenges, logistics, inventory, research and development. You guys really took a bite out of solving some big challenges this year and last. So if you could just take a moment and give us an intro on you and the company.
Absolutely. So my name's Christina. Bellis Labs is the company particularly that we're talking about. We do everything from manufacturing to also having a full service research and development facility as well, which is brand new. So it's been a very exciting bit of growth for us this past year. That's not just involving system, but that's also involving our other areas. So again, very exciting, at least on our part. Work tables, I have nothing but good things to say between Monday.com and work tables right now. Um, really everything we do is centralized through there. There's an aspect of everything, and every system talks to each other through this system. So I like to think about it that way, because before we did business, we could use many systems, but they all didn't speak to one another. So we've had a lot of development over the years. Work tables, it's been how many years now? It's been a good amount of years. So
Oh, yeah.
every
Yeah.
year we're adding in new things. Every year we're adding in new areas of development. Some pretty exciting ones this year. Um, I guess maybe Michael, you guys might have some other things that you
Yeah. Yeah.
more
Yeah. I think,
exciting, but
yeah.
um, I think the exciting part had this year, in my opinion, happens to be the further expansion of our customer portals. I like to focus there because, again, no matter from what any standpoint, really my goal is to make sure that customers are having a wonderful experience start to finish. This is also part of our ISO initiatives. So being very important and being customer centric, extremely important. But I think that's where we've seen some of the most significant growth. Internally, I know there's some exciting stuff. So I apologize, Worktable's team. I don't want to steal any thunder. But ultimately, I think the most exciting things came through the customer experience. They're able to log into a portal and see actively where they are. I know this kind of plays along with some of the things that Maddie, you guys might be working on over there. So again, but from that standpoint, in the beginning, some customers were like, oh, what is this? I don't really understand this, things like that. But now that we're off and running, I think everybody feels the reception has been positive. They can log in at any time. They can request a meeting. They can access any of their files and documents, not just from their computer, but from their phone. So these are all the things that we've expanded that are even further from where we used to be. Whereas our portals used to be accessible last year on our desktop, now we are accessible on our phones. So I think that some of the areas of expansion from that have been immense when it comes to the customer. We're getting less questions. We are getting better interaction with customers. They're
Christina, how many,
understanding.
I think when we measured it,
Yes.
was it like 70% less customer questions because everything was answered? And how was that the number? Like
It
60 or
is.
70%,
Yep,
somewhere like
it
that?
is. Yes. And the software itself has also allowed me as an owner and a manager to step in and also run a quick software just to see is, hey, how fast is my team actually responding? Where these metrics come in. Like if a customer's saying that they're not having the best experience with something, I can easily log in. I can see from their view. I can speak from that perspective. So I think these are all the things that have been, to me, more impactful on the customer side. Now, on the internal side, we've had an umpteen amount of insane updates this year, just as far as like, again, helping us to grow new systems, talking to each other, new employees, new workflows. So I
What about
appreciate.
inventory? I think that was I remember that being a significant challenge where, being able to have all of your formula records securely, safely located in a way where only certain individuals could access them, but then be able to create a workflow that triggered off ordering for batches, receiving instant update from, if you could just take a minute and talk about, so I think that was another, your team absolutely loved that
Yeah.
update as
So
well.
on the bash side, I mean, and again, I wear many hats in the business. That being said, on the batch side, I think where the significant portion happened for my team was being able to actually trace materials from start to finish. Again, it used to be that we would have an outside system, you manage an email. A manufacturer sends you, and I'm sure everyone knows what I'm talking about. If you're in manufacturing, you get it. If you order samples from places, they come one way, they come a different way. How do you manage that? Is the process the same from each company? No. But internally, that has now allowed us traceability. I can see where a material goes at what stage. I can see a photo of that material. I can see if it's transferred to a different section. I can pull up every record that now it's tied to. This has been kind of the area that we've helped to kind of, again, it used to be slightly more antiquated the way we would do it. It used to be a sheet. We had an Excel spreadsheet with thousands of ingredients in there. If somebody made a mistake on there, it was like one person was also I always say the molehill in the sense that we had to overcome because that person was the keeper of everything. That doesn't work. It doesn't work ultimately. So we have a lot of hands in that pot. I have now multiple batch makers. That was the other thing we had expanded because at one point we had built a view that was really only for a 1 to 2 person. Work tables took it to the next stage. They made it so that all of this can work together with 6 or 7 people working at the same time. Maybe areas of growth that we didn't anticipate needs for, but again, work tables was already prepared to execute that once that came through. Now, again, even if I'm more on the tech side, which I'm not, and I'll be completely honest, it's kind of not my forte. But that being said, the technology side, like I just think it's really expanded everything that we can do in providing efficiencies. I mean, if you can't access something quickly, like I needed extra systems to let me know even when we have reminders on materials if they're getting old, reminders on materials to remove them. We didn't have full built out processes that were reflective in a computer and or reflective to less manual labor. Um, Again, at different areas of assessments, but this has allowed us to expand completely. We're connected in all of our records. Like I can go back now on one material, I can see every single record from one click, which is completely different. It used to be that I would have to go and pull a report. We all know antiquated reports. We've been there. A lot of systems work with reports. I felt my Salesforce used to work and function that way more than it did quickly giving me the data that I need. So Worktables has created us some dashboards. That's been the more innovative area for us as a management team because it gives me a quick glimpse into exactly what's happening. If we're having inefficiencies, it allows me to then get to that department quickly to find out what's happening. But again, it's not always something that in real time is realistic for someone to call me and say, SOS, this is happening. Sometimes things are happening that are more a system problem that we can get ahead of by, again, by management team being on top of it.
Christina, one of the things that you brought up was, the process and SOPs and,
Yeah.
I think another initiative was, how do we get employees that, join the team, ramped up as fast as possible, as efficiently as possible. And I think one of the areas, and again, I'll let you elaborate on this, but building in all of your SOPs and work instructions into your centralized system. We're
Yeah.
in the process of now releasing your proprietary AI chatbot where your team can go in, ask about any process. How do I create a batch? How do I quote this product?
Yep.
And it just so and then of course you're the proprietary chemist agent that was
Yep.
made. Just if you could take a minute and just touch on how that's helped the work, like speed up the team's adoption time and made them more proficient. I think that would be something worth to touch on.
Well, two things. You guys have helped us innovate an area specifically when it comes to obviously having access to SOP and records, first and foremost. So getting people ramped up. Secondly to that, we've also introduced our employee portals. So
Oh,
I kind of was
yes.
leaving that as an excitement standpoint because
Yeah.
now the customers don't just get it, but my employees get it. So now I know when my time off, I know what my other efficiencies are. I know that again, certain things that need to happen for me in order to be successful as an employee are now there and in my forefront. So that's one thing. But then let's also touch to some other areas of efficiencies. And Michael, repeat that question one more time.
So
'Cause
the AI, how the new AI chatbot that the new
Yes.
AI,
Okay.
generating dynamic
Well, see, we're
reports and
doing too many.
assessments and
Yeah.
we're doing a
Too
lot.
many
Yeah.
exciting things. This
Yeah.
year's been serious innovation. Like Worktables is like kicked it in high gear. I want to say we're probably one of the most demanding customers so far right now for our needs. But the chatbot, okay. I personally, this is like far innovation for me. I am like a master in ChatGPT, which I never was before. I told you guys I'm not technological when it comes to stuff. I'm not really somebody who adopts these things very quickly and easily. So I always say that I'm more on the learning curve of the turtle. That being said, a very smart turtle. But that being said, for me, this has been a completely different game changer because, as I said, with me being able to glow and look right now and get, from a dashboard, hey, how fast are my employees answering, things like that. This is different. This is now giving us something that will walk and talk like me, but has the features of ChatGPT. So it's going to allow you to ask chemistry questions. It's going to allow you to ask questions specifically about what happened in that order. So, for example, I had a call with Susie last Tuesday. Susie told me all about X, Y, and Z. I can now go into this and I can ask it a chemistry question about it from someone who has no understanding or knowledge of chemistry.
And even about the meeting, it saves all your.
This is what I'm saying.
We integrated the transcript. So for those of you who use note takers on meetings, one of the things that Bellis is doing is really using those transcripts. So we integrated them in a way where they can go, their customer service team can go pull up the last 4 meetings we had with client A, shows all the meetings, give me the summary of that. That was helping them solve their customer service issues with record speed, having that, give me the overall sentiment of a client, right? I think that was one of the things you were excited about too.
Big one, the tone, because what is the tone? If my team talked to a customer 2 weeks ago and they told the customer something, there was a positive tone, a reception, we've informed them. Now 2 weeks later, they're coming back raving angry about something. Again, I have to maybe pull out for a second and be very objective. I need to know objectively what's happening. I need to know quickly. Here's my problem. Think about it. What happens for a customer when they come through and they're mad? Even if it's not logical, we all know this. We've all been there in business. If you don't answer them fast, or if you answer them too quick, there's all these things that you can't troubleshoot on your own. This gives my team also a way to ask questions. How should we handle this? What is the best method for diffusing this customer? Where do I get this knowledge from? What did Christina say? She is again, she was the owner. I wasn't a part of this meeting. What did she say? What was the tone of that? So this is game changer for us, because it's literally taking like our audio, which can connotate tone, right? You can hear my tone versus if this was just written, that might pick up something very differently. So this is allowing us to take this to the next level. I mean, this is something that is completely changing the game. It's new for us, but it's completely changing the game. Like I said, it's giving my team, who doesn't have as much of an understanding on the customer service side of chemistry, of some of the detailed things, of manufacturing. I can't expect them to know everything, and they don't need to. But the reality is having a reference for that, something that can help them to generate a response without requiring heavy management overview and support. Why? Because I've programmed it to speak and walk and talk like me. So it's something totally different. I mean it like I was more excited for that than I think like anything that we've done. But like the employee portals, and like I don't want to steal any thunder, because this year's been a very significant year for us for growth. But just know, I mean, that happened over time. And work tables, I appreciate all of you, from the sense that we have put a lot of things on the table. You've now helped us to make those connections. And even when we've all hit a wall together, the one thing is being very collaborative and working together. That's not something you always get. I found, to be honest, in some of our past tech work with different companies, it was more like, this is what it is. Again, I don't like hearing that. I'm a person of opportunity, and I'm a person of that there is a way. So I appreciate that when I did hit a wall, you guys helped us. And if we didn't find the exact answer that I arrived at, you usually gave me something better.
Christina, thank you. That was excellent context. Thank you so much for that. And again, thank you for your time and being here today. So, we've heard from pet food manufacturers. We've heard from cosmetics and research and development companies. Let's take it to a large scale bridge and let Nathan take it home for us. Nathan Oxley, COO, Roadrunner Bridge. Nathan, thank you very much for being here today. And I know from your perspective, you're using Monday in a few different areas as well. You're using it, now in sales. You're using it in project management, implementation, doing these projects, executing on these projects. So I would love it if you could take a minute, introduce yourself and your company, and then we'll dive in.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for the little introduction there. I'm Nathan Oxley. I manage both Roadrunner Bridge and the Henry Group, and we do we're kind of a unique business, but we build bridges and we also build bakery equipment. So I have some in common with the pet food manufacturer. I'm sorry, I forgot your name already, but we build 100-foot long, 16.5-foot wide ovens. So if you've ever had, for example, a King's Hawaiian roll, it was probably cooked in one of our ovens. We have big competitors. We're a small business, but and then how we got into the bridge business was kind of unique. We have big laser machines out there, and it cuts our man hours down, and it just made sense. So I'll save you all the context there, but we didn't have, when I came on board about 3 years ago, we didn't have any kind of MRP, ERP. We had an old program, antiquated program called Computeries, and it kind of did our inventory. It showed our job costing, things like that. But it didn't provide any idea of any work in progress on the shop floor. It didn't have anything for tracking projects or financials or our customer databases or anything like that. It was very old and antiquated. And think like if you're old like me, DOS versus Windows is kind of how it was. So Monday was something that I researched because we were initially looking into like Acumatica or SAP, but we're not big enough for that. And I have a defense background, an oil and gas background, and when you come from big, massive companies like that, those are the robust programs you might need. As unfriendly and they're not fun to use. Takes a lot of training. Monday was refreshing because not only because of its price point, but because it's web-based. So you can have anybody from your team come on board, and it's just very easy to understand. And I started out just kind of building out just standard projects on it, and then I started expanding it into the bridge side. And that's how it really helped us a ton, not only just for tracking work in progress, but our projects. But we've also integrated just recently with Worktables in creating our CRM, and it has an API that integrates with our other programs that we use online called Client Point, where those two talk to each other. So our leads flow into our CRM, and then they'll flow from our CRM into our projects. And it makes this nice, seamless, um, more integrated ecosystem where I can, from a manager perspective, look at see as a global side how everything's doing, how everybody's doing on from sales to production. I can get it granular and look down into our our purchasing and our engineering. All that's tracked in Monday, as well as the social media aspect of having the Monday.com in there and using it to where it's not calling anybody out, but everybody has view of how everybody's performing. So if something's missing or something's not happening, or if we're going to run behind on something, it's as easy as a comment, and everyone sees this is what's going on, this is what happened, and we're all on the same team, we're all working towards the same goals, and so why can't we just have the open transparency? And that's what Monday does for us. Worktables, the partnership with them on the Monday.com side has been integral for the CRM. I know nothing about APIs. I know nothing about getting two programs to talk to each other. I've got a computer background, but that was a long, long time ago, and I needed them, and they have. It's been a pleasure to work with them. And so yeah, our business is fully functioning behind Monday.com and Worktables with the CRM, and it's a huge benefit to us. We track everything on here.
Nathan, and just when I think about all of the moving parts that must go into creating, those large scale items, like, so how were you doing it before that? When you came in, what did that look like?
It was a disaster. Yeah, when I came on board, you only found out how something was doing by word of mouth. We had meetings all the time, and I hate meetings. No offense to this meeting, but I hate meetings. We're not making any money if all the talent's sitting in one room talking about how things are going. And I'd rather have things being produced. Fabrication and our welders out there we're not generating income if we're stuck in a meeting talking about what we're going to do, what the plan is, or where we are on a project. So we still have those meetings, of course, but I mean, it's easy to get live view, especially with some of our remote workers, to see exactly what's going on by just pulling it up. You can pull the project up and you can see exactly what's going on. It's always live, it's always updated. And I mean, honestly, that's only been the only challenge, is getting my team on board and making sure that they're stopping the word of mouth and not putting it in Monday, because if we don't know, then we're not informed. And it's moving beyond this old email format of business that we used to operate off of, that I know that we're all so familiar with, where everything was done through emails. But if you wanted to find an answer to something that you forgot about, if you're like me and you have 1,000 things going on at once, you go and do a search, and then you have to scroll through all the emails to find out what did that person say about that one thing. And it's tough. And Monday just, it keeps us organized. And that's what it was. That was really what that was the biggest wake up call for us, because the disaster that we came from the word of mouth and email only, was not going to work for us. And I don't know how they were, the Henry Group or Roadrunner Bridge was successful. And I do want to say one more thing. When I came on board, Roadrunner Bridge was just the startup. They've only been in existence for 3 years, and that's as long as I've been here. So I helped them with this startup, and our business has exploded. And it's through the help of Monday.com. Just the organization alone is just been the biggest impact of the business itself.
And Nathan, what would you say prior to implementing the system? What would you say was an average time it took to get a project done, and what would you say it is now after having the systems and the visibility in place? What does that look like?
It's pretty easy to see from the bridge side. Yeah, I think we've probably brought our lead times in on our most popular bridge. I would probably say probably a month. And that's just due just to communication and purchasing, making sure that the materials are here because the job's sold. So now we need to buy the materials and we need to make sure the labor's available for resources. And so that being able to see that in one place and being able to make those decisions, within an hour and everything's on track. And then you've got basically your Gantt chart showing you where you're going to be. That it fixed the business. It didn't exist before. And so I think, yeah, we're saving not only time and money, but the customer, they're getting their bridges super fast now. And like I said, probably a month in.
And opening up, I mean, if you're closing and delivering these jobs a month sooner, the impact of now being able to do more jobs in that same year with the same team, which nowadays with, the rising cost of materials, right? Any of the logistical challenges that, manufacturers face, getting, with the same team, getting that much more production, it's a big deal. That's a really big
Yeah,
deal.
that's an important point. That also helped us see, like, if we've sold multiple bridges of some of the same material, it's a lot easier to buy in bulk and save a lot of money. And as we all know in manufacturing, if you want to continue to make something rather than having to change everything over, from your chucks to your lasers to your team that's going to be welding, if they can continue on the same project and continue to work on the same stuff, just building multiple of the same, your economies of scale come way in. You're able to make more, and you're able to your value is extremely better, just based off of that. And that's being able to see that visually. Oh, we've got 3 of those bridges sold this month. They're all coming out this month. They're due this month. Why don't we just build all 3 of them now and then jump to the other bridges that we've got to do? And we can use that on the bakery side as well. I mean, we don't just make ovens. We do pan cleaners and conveyors and all kinds of stuff. So it helps us as well just on the material ordering scale. Buying in bulk helps a ton, and being able to see what's all out there in one page that's massive.
Yeah, increases profits too, right? Better pricing, right? Less time touching the same, the same purchase order. So excellent. No, Nathan, I mean, appreciate you and the time you took to, to share this. And, I think as we wrap up the speaker portion here, the narrative is as an industry transforming into this new automated way of operating, right? Taking the business to the next level. The key here is solving these problems all stem from having a single baseline and stream of communication throughout the team, having all your systems be there and talk together. And any one of those challenges can be solved from that core. So thank you everyone for the time today speaking. So what I'll do here now is move on just to give a deeper dive into the solution itself and really talk about, some of the interesting points. So again, the manufacturing work operating system, for those of you who know Monday.com, it is one of the largest software providers out there. They have been growing faster than any other software. If you have their stock, you'll see why. It is just a fantastic company. And what they do is they really look at the organization and they want to do things to solve real pain points and provide value. And what we did here is we said, when we looked at the manufacturing industry, okay, some manufacturers can't make fast moves. Some can. Some have these older systems. Some have no systems. So how do we bring something together that can work for a manufacturer wherever they are in their journey and help them in a way that's going to provide immediate value? Because I'm sure many of us on this meeting right now have been a part of large ERP projects or large implementations that take years before you even see one efficiency, because it's that much time and money. So that was the thought process behind this when we came together Monday, is build something that's modular. So, and you know, going into this next slide, all of these different aspects. Like I have clients that deploy this and end to end, it's their ERP, it solves their problem, intakes their leads, manages their projects, their materials, does their quality checks, production time tracking. I mean, everything, and shipping and logistics, all end to end. And then I have clients that come to us and they're like, all right, I need to solve for this. And we can strategically deploy the technology to solve the initial problem. And then I call it the Monday effect. The minute organizations see what Monday can do, and you know, Maddie, Christina, and Nathan have alluded to it. One problem, then the next problem, and all of a sudden, this single software that you've now already you've paid for is not costing you. You know, you don't have to continually buy more and more and more. They have their products, you purchase them, you have your licenses, and you can customize, and this is what we do. So it's this, you know, surgical approach to helping manufacturers solve these problems. And when you look at it at the, you know, the grand scale, you know, here are just, you know, some of the main use cases. But in sales, we've seen the automated CRM help close deals 2 times faster, increasing response time with automated emailing, being able to centralize all of your pre-sale communication. And then once that sale closes, automatically send everything over to the project team. So the project team knows everything that the salesperson talked about. It's not one of these, which I'm sure we've all experienced this. Hey, Michael, what did you sell customer A, and when did you need it by? And oh wow, you shouldn't have did that. We don't have that availability. We don't have that stock. You know, giving sales team visibility, control visibility, giving projects team what they need. From a production side of things, giving something, and what we've seen is this. Every manufacturer, all the employees at that organization are somewhere different on their technical proficiency skills, right? Some are great. Some have background in computers. Some know how to operate systems. While others, I've had clients come to me and pull me aside and go, Mike, you know, my team here, they use flip phones. Like they don't know how to work computers or iPads or anything like that. So what makes what makes this solution unique and why it solves so many problems is I can deploy Monday.com. We can deploy Monday in your production facility where your production team just needs to scan a code and click a drop down. And now you have that information. Or your project management team, they get beautiful charts and graphs because they need that to manage the expectation. Or your inventory team needs, you know, barcode tracking and to know where things are in the warehouse. So we tailor it so each team in their proficiency is able to get the most out of this. And like I think all 3 of our speakers said today, you're able to get anything within 30 seconds. And I had a client who came back to us, pharmaceutical, and they had sold a large bulk product to a distributor. The distributor came back and questioned the fill of the product, saying it was supposed to be a 2-ounce fill, and it wasn't. Within seconds, they were able to pull up their quality checks from their Monday system and show with a video how easy, and not only was that fill correct, but you know how easy they were able to get that information and share it. So, you know, the narrative around the solution is it's strategic and surgical. It can solve immediate deep pain points. It could solve wide pain points. It's there for your team to use, whether they are experts or whether they're novices using flip phones. It fits the gap, and it fits and I think the last thing that I'll close on with is the time to value, because when we implement, it immediately starts to pay itself back in how it's helping the team and giving them more efficiencies and ultimately, you know, driving more profits and the success of the business. So with that said, just as we're coming to wrap up here, one of the things we do is we do these blueprints and we do these analysis where after this session, Michael, he'll close it out, you know, we'll get you a copy of this, but we do these complimentary services where we can help and map out a blueprint on where there's gaps, how it can help, what the ROI is, to really give you a bird's eye view on how the challenges that are unique to your businesses. And you've heard each one of these speakers, they all started out with, our business is unique, and most software is a one size fits all type solution. That's what makes this different. We can tailor it. If you need to measure things in pounds and units for pet food, or ounces like cosmetics, or in yards and foot of steel, this system can be tailored. So that's one thing that we will be doing. Also, coming up, the Made in Manufacturers Day, the manufacturing day for MEP. We are going to be there. We're going to have a booth there, and we're going to be having some of this technology on display. So if you're going to be there, please stop by. Also, Monday is hosting one of their annual global events. It's called Elevate. Alex was able to get a really unique offer and pass for anybody that was on this call today. So this is going to be in the New York area, right in Manhattan, Alex, right? I believe Elevate is going to be right by the Monday office.
It's actually going to be in Brooklyn, so not too far.
Brooklyn.
So for anybody
Okay.
not too far from the city, we'd love to have you. I'm going to post a link in the chat here if you want to learn a little bit more.
Excellent, excellent. Okay, so really now that we're tailoring towards the end, I'm going to open it up for some questions here, and a great list. Let's start. Okay, so first question: what did these organizations do to prepare their people for this transformation? Excellent, excellent question. So first, it's a couple of things. When we come in, we do these things called white glove workshops. We bring all of the executives and the stakeholders together. We plan out what we're going to do, and we set these milestones and trainings and overviews for the team. So first thing is get the executives aligned. We map out the start to end process of what we're going to be solving. So now we have that flow. We begin doing the work, and then we do these different trainings where we do videos, live trainings, and essentially make sure people are proficient with what they're about to adopt. Raj, looks like you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi. Quick question. I'm Raj Sinha. Just a quick background. I actually worked with a lot of global manufacturing companies, all over the world. I actually have a responsibility for global human resources, board, and all that stuff. So my question is that I have been reading, of course, all of us have been reading a lot of articles in the New York Times and also in the Wall Street Journal that there's a major impact of tariff in the supply chain. That's number one. And the second thing is, I'm also interested to find out there are fairly kind of like effective software packages from SAP and Oracle about these things, supply chain. So I would like to get your opinion on that. Thank you.
Great question. Thank you. So
Thanks.
first, tariffs, right? Yeah. So tariffs are affecting us all. And the way that I've seen our clients use Monday is we create your supplier database, we create your inventory database, and we can set tariffs percentages for each one of those suppliers. And this impacts in a few ways. One, by doing this, it gives instant visibility to your sales team to know how to price and how to adapt to these changing prices. We can notify them, put it on their dashboards, a lot of different ways. But that's the big one because we do it at the core, which really gives that visibility and control throughout the team. So that's one. Two, we're able to set up this system in a way where it supports the procurement team, where whatever they're ordering can set reminders and bulk things together. So you heard Nathan mention that about his team, where if you're running, 50 different orders, the system can pull everything together for you, notify the procurement officer to go, hey, you now have all this material to order from the same vendor. Maybe there's room to negotiate, and we can set these alerts, reminders, dashboards, and widgets. So that's how we've seen, from the tariff side. And then because we're providing so much operational efficiency, where we're removing about 30% of what a normal employee would spend in their day, all of that helps to offset some of the challenges that the tariffs have presented in terms of financial impact. So that was the one. Now, SAP and the other software, for those of us who have deployed SAP, it is a lift. I've seen implementations cost millions of dollars for those software. A Monday implementation, just to give you an idea, a full SAP implementation, every part of your business, 7 figures, Monday implementation. I mean, you're talking $25,000-$30,000. Like, that's the difference. I mean, it's night and day, and the how fast your team can learn to use it. So that was a great question, Bosh. Thank you for that. I'm looking here on the list. Ooh, okay, this is a good one. I've had multiple software stacks in our history, and all of them have not worked. We are back to using spreadsheet. What makes Monday different? Thank you for that. That's a great question. And look, I've had to go, and I call it software shock, because clients have used it and they have not seen success, or they've deployed it and their team won't use it, right? And like that's the challenge. So what makes Monday different is, and I'll give a few examples. So you implement a CRM. No salesperson wants to use a CRM. They don't want to put data in. They don't want to use it. But when you make a system that helps that salesperson sell better, more effectively, and make more money, now they use it. When you do, and Nathan hinted to this, all of a sudden, when you open up transparency to your team and you see Michael has got 50 missed tasks because he's not using it, it's that social, I don't want to say pressure, but when you're the person with 50 tasks that nobody else has them missed, you're going to see people start to adopt and start to use this real quick. So that's the difference. And then Monday being able to tailor to the technical proficiency of the user. That's a big one. That's going to change it big. So where it's not complex and it makes them feel strong. That was a great question, by the way. Let's see. Going through here. Yeah, so I heard you mention QR codes. How can this work in the software? So Monday has built-in QR code and form capability. So we can use these QR codes in forms in a few different ways. So I have clients that use them for quality checks. During an order, they can scan the work order, do a pH, visual check, counts, well, dynamically right from their device. They need no special software. So we see them used like that. We see them used for time tracking. So if you need to track time, or when you've completed something in the production process and you want to take your finish, you can scan it, take a picture with the form, and within 3 inputs, that data is immediately synced into your master database. So we can use them in many different ways. How do you compare that?
Question from Haman. Do you see that?
Okay. Epicor, the Epicor question. Okay. So when you look at the comparison of Epicor to Monday, Epicor is very streamlined for a specific set of use cases. It's very heavy, difficult to use. So imagine being able to get to the same place, 5 times faster and 5 times cheaper. That is the quickest way I can explain, how they compare. And I have clients that have Epicor, right? They're using, their P21 instance, and they can't get rid of it. So we put a layer right on top of it. It talks to Monday. Monday becomes their source of truth, and it keeps everything in sync with Epicor. So that's again, another great question. Coming up here on the hour. Any other questions before I pass it off to our hostmaster, Michael Womack?
And if anyone does have any questions or thinks of anything and wants to get in touch with Michael, everyone's going to have his contact information. So, Michael, thank you so much. I just want to thank everyone for joining us today, the panel, worktablesmonday.com, the monday.com team for making today's information session possible. Taking the time to engage with sessions like this is critical, especially for made in New Jersey manufacturers, because it's how we remain resilient, competitive, and able to continue to innovate. Thank you, Michael, for the heads up about Made in New Jersey Manufacturing Day. It is right around the corner.
Yeah.
It's keeping me up at night, so I know it's almost tomorrow. It is taking place on October 3rd this year, same place as last year. I'll drop a link in the chat. And we are limited to about 1,200 people, and we have more registrations than we've ever had up to this point. We have both gubernatorial candidates going there. Like Michael said, we have new sponsor interest. So if you are interested in joining, please take advantage as soon as possible. So I don't have to lock you out of that. So I'm going to just drop that link in here. Please feel free to join. It is really the only kind of day, or the only real day for manufacturers like this in New Jersey. I'm going to set up a follow-up email later today and then next week for the recording. If you want to get in touch with Michael again, I'll have his contact information in there. Please keep an eye out for more affiliate webinars like this, and of course, our core training opportunities that take place every single week. There's plenty more to come. So hope you all have a wonderful rest of the day. Thank you for joining us. And Michael, maybe you can hang out for a second?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Yeah, actually, I saw a couple of other questions come in here too. I'll make sure I do a nice little recap on. It looked like I got a couple of questions on asset management, managing equipment, managing field service. So I'll make sure when we follow up, I'll touch on those points.
Awesome.
So overall, I think they're great questions. Really enjoyed, the overall engagement of the. And I just love that these are manufacturers that are here local with us in the area, and it's just great. Really appreciate these types of events for sure.
Just clearing the room out.
Yeah,
Just
sure.
want to follow up. Awesome. I think that's all of us, right? Cool. Just impressions. How did you guys feel it went? Any questions, concerns, anything I can do for you guys on the back end now?
No, it looks like, we're just wrapping up. I think there's some few more participants that are clearing out. Anthony.
Oh, that's one of our account managers. I think he's stuck.
Okay. Just double checking before we start. No, overall, I mean, you know what? Let me take a step back. Alex, you're partner manager. What do you think?
Yeah.
I think you guys crushed it. I think one of the and Womack, you definitely know this better than I do.
Mike, can you let Gio back in? He got kicked out.
Oh shit! Sorry about that.
All good. But the one thing that I was looking at besides the presentation,
Have him pop in that same link. I booted him.
All right, hold on.
Sorry about that, Mike.
There you go. Okay, he's joining. Go ahead, Alex.
Awesome. All I was saying was, like, besides the presentation itself and just my subjective view on it, which was incredible. All the speakers seemed really well prepared, and obviously showering you with praise, which was great. But the number I kept looking at was obviously the participants, and the fact that it just kept going up throughout with all little to no drop off until like the last 5 minutes, maybe. That we had 40 people. Like, it kept going up, and like I think when we started the presentation, it was probably at like 30. I think by the middle of it, it was at 40. And
I saw 43 was the crest.
Really? 43? Yeah. So it didn't go below 40 until like 5 minutes before we were done.
Really?
So we had really good retention on it. So clearly, like, goes without saying, very clearly was striking a chord with people. I wish we could have shown them the platform. I don't know if that was a deliberate decision, just so we avoid like technical difficulties live, which I get.
It was more for, because you know what I've been finding, Alex, especially with the executive team.
Yeah.
We give them the broad stroke and the swipe, get them excited, and then boom, we can come across.
It's creating like a FOMO thing, like, oh, I got to see that thing, man. But no, either way.
And what I've seen on platforms on my side is, or even like decision makers working with the clients that we bring in, they just tell someone to do it, and then they get frustrated at the team for not knowing this first. So they'll just push it off to them. They don't really need to see they don't want to see the platforms, or they don't want to see the services. They just got sold on it, and now it's just the other person's time to set up those meetings. So that's from the audience that I've seen. I know about 50% of them pretty well in the room, and that's how I've seen them work.
Awesome. That's super good to hear. This was like true manufacturing, digital transformation, thought leadership. Like, I think we really hit the nail on the head. I think it was incredibly topical, and we had a really engaged room of people who were asking questions. So I'm super happy, and now my mind just goes to what our post-event follow-up strategy is going to be, make sure that we capitalize on this.
Oh, yeah. So
from
Mike,
NJMP side, I sent out an email right after this, thanking everyone for being there. You guys actually have the latest list. Usually I send that list after, but this was much more collaborative. So what I'm going to do is send out the list to everyone, make sure Michael's contact information is in there. So if they have direct questions, they can just reach out to you directly. And then, of course, you have the list, so you could do your own back out or outreach from the back end. And then a week later, because I really want people to ask for the presentation. I want people to ask for the video and give them that kind of week of like fear of missing out. So they set the meeting with Michael. So a week later, they'll get the link to the recording. Ideally, I want them to set meetings up with the affiliate before they even get that recording. So just a heads up, if they ask for the recording, I'm going to send them right to you and make that referral that way. So just keep a note if they ask me for the recording. Hey, speak with Michael. It's coming out in a week. He might be able to connect with you sooner.
So, and then on our side, tomorrow kicks off a 7 touch point email like engagement flow and sequence where our coordinator Gabriel Diaz is going to first thing in the morning trigger off a thank you email to everybody. I mean, guys, 40 people, over 40 people stayed on till the
You guys
end.
are happy with that volume?
I think that was a great. I think you know what? Having the experience we just had with this, if we were to do something like this again, oh, I think we could even do. But Alex and I we were talking about it before. We're like, hey, if we can get a solid, 40, 50 people joining and get, a certain amount of conversions afterwards, we're going to consider this, successful. But Alex, I mean, the numbers, the people did not dropping off. I think overall, a great
what I
result.
noticed too from my end is I usually get about a 40, and I did have some clients saying, hey, I'm just going to register, Mike. I know you get the recording out. I only a handful of those, but usually I get like a 40 to 50% drop off of registrations to actually showing up for free events. This was actually my best conversion rate for a free event. So little feather in the cap there.
Whoa.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Whoa, nothing to shy away from there, guys.
Will we be able to? That's awesome to hear, Womack. Sorry for the use of last names, guys, but
please, I actually feel comfortable. I don't know if you ever
differentiation.
saw this.
And by the way, most of my friends, most people,
Womack jersey
oh,
for the
very
Devils.
nice.
So
Look at you. I love that.
make me feel at home.
And for the record, most of like the people in the Monday office call me Finale, so we can all go by last names in these meetings. I was wondering, is there going to be an ability, and I wonder if this might influence your follow-up strategy, Simo, is to see the list of people who registered and like sort of a check mark of sorts if they actually attended.
Oh, you're going to get a list. I'm sorry, I didn't bring this up. You're going to get a list of the Zoom poll. So everyone that was actually at the on the Zoom call, you're going to get the general list because I want to include. I know I sent it to you already, but I want to include the referrals. And then you're going to get that secondary list that's going to just be from Zoom. So it's a Zoom export. It has name and email address only, unfortunately, but you could do that matchup. And
that's easy. That gives us those are the two most important data points.
Yeah,
far.
exactly.
Michael, do you think Simo, do you think it makes sense to sort of like make like two separate email campaigns?
I was just through my brain who joined and who didn't.
Yeah.
And I was thinking even going, so how fast can I get that video?
The video for the recording?
Mm-hmm.
I can get it to you. I'm going on vacation tomorrow. That's a pain in the ass, but I could probably get my team to get that to you by Friday.
Because Alex, here's what I'm thinking. We do like a chop up of like as a teaser with like clips, what people said, questions from bang, 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 and use that as a way to convert some more. So
I would say also that's a great idea. And I would say also, because I know you have other video assets of the solution, this is where we could tie those in together as well to make it a little more visual. Because I think, and again, I feel good with what Womack said about knowing these people and that like the conversation was the important part.
Yeah.
But I think emailing people, if they click on that and they hear some of the sound bites, like the Henry Group, Bell, like all these people talking about how amazing the solution is, like sprinkling in some of the thought leadership, plus those like screenshots of dashboards and like a couple of quick clicks and that sort of thing. I think that's absolutely money. Is there a reason that we need to be sort of like coordinated with like the work tables campaign versus the emails that are coming out from NJ MEP? Like, will any of it feel like duplicative? Like if we're sending a recording, but you're also sending
the emails actually come directly from Mike Womack. Some people I like to keep and maintain those relationships directly. So I promise my clients the recording, or they're going to hear from me. I just want to make sure that they hear from me and record.
Okay.
I actually would prefer you guys doing your own relationship building on the back end. It's so expected from me. I don't want to interrupt the process.
Yeah, no, for sure. 100%. That's
you know what I'm also thinking?
Great.
Alex, maybe we reactivate the Mr. Wonderful. We had Mr. Wonderful do a promo video about this
I
solution.
saw that. Yeah.
I'm almost thinking we reactivate the license and stitch that in with the video. Like, and then we just use this as an asset moving forward, bro. With all these people talking, that was gold. Hearing those clients talk like that was
you gotta love
gold.
that, right?
Oh my gosh, that was fantastic. All right. Guys,
I am so happy you guys enjoyed the experience. Was there anything I could do better leading up to it, production wise? Anything that I can do better in the future?
I think the only thing that we had already mentioned to you was like the friction and like with billing
The
information,
registration process.
and then like the calendar invite for the
yeah, I don't
event.
know what Alex mentioned that to me too.
Yeah.
I've never had a client worry about that in terms of like the actual client that's going to be attending. So I'm going to take a look at that calendar invite because I left you guys, I let Alex know this earlier. I left you guys off of the annoying emails I send. I send like, thank you for registering when to register. I send a 2 week before reminder, week before reminder, 2 days before reminder. And then you get 2 emails from me actually on the day of in the morning. Here's the Zoom link. And then 10 minutes before, hey, it's starting now. Come on, join in. That's my calendar invite. So I don't just.
And for the record, Womack, I like.
Oh shit! He froze.
Oh,
Everyone
Look
froze.
how many people joined today. Like clearly, it's
You're
sorry.
back.
Are we good? We're back.
Yeah, we
Okay.
lost you for a second.
Like
Okay.
all that said, like while I had those concerns, and I do think maybe that's something we could think about in the future. Look how many people joined. Like it ended up being a non-issue. I did go through the attendee list. And I checked it versus my campaign, so it looks like none of like. So I think the beauty of it is that like you are connected with these NJMEP people. They read your emails and stuff. Whereas I think maybe like 3 or 4 Monday people registered for my campaign. None of those people were in there. So I think it's maybe like a concern that I have being in sales is like if I'm reaching out to people a little bit more cold versus you're a very warm sort of resource for these people, which is why they joined, why we had such good
makes sense
in there. Whereas like the Monday clients who had never really heard of work tables before, never really heard of NJMEP before, that was the drop off where maybe a calendar invite, less friction there would have been helpful. But again, we're talking about 3 or 4 people. Either way, like
well, still in general, it would be nice, you know. I mean, that's a way to make those people a little warmer. So I like that. I put that note because I always want to improve the process. We actually built and developed the registration and open enrollment is what we call this process, custom, internal. I took it with a team and developed it all, so I could just make modifications.
Sweet, but to answer your overall question, you crushed it. It was an absolute pleasure working with you. We really enjoyed it. And
I love to hear that. And then manufacturing day is coming up next. So Mike, I'll keep you in the loop with manufacturing day.
Yeah.
You're gonna get them. You're gonna start getting the logistics emails next week. I know you have a set amount of tickets in there, but let me know if you need more tickets. You're a higher level sponsor. I can be flexible with tickets. If you have a client, you have a buddy, if you anyone that you want to come, feel free. But let me know early because I wasn't joking. I am capped at about 1,200 people, and I didn't expect this. It's just like an outlier. The variables don't make sense. Usually, I track very consistently for manufacturing day registrations, and we are way ahead of the curve, which is making
I
me
think because
happy but nervous on my burn rate.
Because you said Cheryl and Chittarelli are going to be there.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a lot of heat around this right now.
I know. I know.
There's
Usually,
a lot of heat
I
around
bullshit when like politicians are going to get, it's going to be a big draw. This one actually is and was out of the gate a big draw. In all reality, my perfect day is we get closed out around 1 o'clock. People get their lunch, and then fire marshals show up and kick me out, and then it makes the news. So that's my goal.
Awesome, brother. Excellent,
all right, guys.
excellent.
So keep a lookout for those. I'm going to get this email out now. I'm going to work to get you the video by Friday. I'm not going to make a promise because I'm not going to be physically here, but I'm going to get my team on it so they pull that. Because you don't need the dressed up version. You just need the raw video.
I need the raw footage. My team will chop it, slice it, and dice it. So if you get it from me before Friday, they can do it on Monday. They can have it done by Monday.
Beautiful. You'll get the Zoom poll. So those are the people that were on site. And then the registration list with the referrals. Beautiful.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Excellent.
Take it easy, guys. Thank you so much. It was a pleasure working with you two, too.
All right. Alex, I'm going to call you back.